Well, hello there, everybody. It's Keagan here. I'm back with another video for you guys, and I hope you guys are all having a nice day, evening, or afternoon, or whatever the time it may be that you're watching this video. Anyways, today's video is going to be the first video of 2023, so happy belated New Year's, everybody. And today's video I'm bringing you guys is the Season 5 premiere of Keagan's movie reviews, and today I'm actually going to be talking about two movies this time. Both of which are movies I saw in theaters. One of them I saw in theaters on Monday last week, and the other I saw on Saturday, which was New Year's Eve. And yeah, so let's talk about them, shall we? So the first film we're going to be talking about today is The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky and screenplay by Samuel D. Hunter, who also wrote the play that this film is based on. And this film is also the comeback film of actor Brendan Fraser, who acted in films like The Mummy and so on. This is kind of his first major Hollywood role in many years after being blacklisted in Hollywood for... I'm not really going to go into this video, but if you know about it, then you know. But if you don't know, I would encourage looking it up. It's some stuff that I probably won't get into in this video because it'll take too long, and that's not really the point of this video. And Darren Aronofsky is the same director of films such as Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream, Pi, and so on. So yeah, I don't have anything else to add, so let's talk about the story of the film, and then we'll give my opinions on it. So let's talk about The Whale. So The Whale follows an English teacher named Charlie, played by Brendan Fraser. And Charlie is a very obese man, like he's beyond overweight. He's homebound, and he can barely walk unless he uses one of those canes or whatever they're called, and later on a wheelchair. He teaches his classes through online because of his condition, through Zoom or whatever the hell you call those services that you do FaceTime with, like meetings and shit like that. But anyways, Charlie's dying. He might not make it through a week, and he's hoping to see his daughter before he potentially dies because of his declining health. And his daughter is played by Sadie, who you might know from the TV series Stranger Things. And he tries to reconnect with his daughter before he eventually dies. Or does he live? Well, I don't really want to give away too much of the storyline because that'll be too many spoilers, so that's basically the storyline of the film in a nutshell. When I first heard that this movie was being announced, I was really looking forward to it since I really do enjoy Darren Aronofsky's films. I think Darren Aronofsky is a great director. Black Swan is one of his best films, same with Requiem for a Dream. And yeah, I just think Darren Aronofsky is just a damn good director. Now, to be honest, I didn't realize that this film was a play until the day I saw it. But when I was watching the film, I kind of got the feeling that this movie was based on a play. Now, I don't know how to describe it, but with a lot of movies that's based on a play, when you watch it, you can kind of tell that something about it is based on a play. Not counting that in the credits it says based on a play written by that, of course. But I don't really know how to describe it, but there's something about movies that are based on plays that I can tell that it's based on a play. Maybe it's either how it's acted or something like that. But that's kind of how I can describe it. But aside from that, I think this is a really, really well done film. All the acting in this movie is fantastic, especially from Sadie and Brendan Fraser. And for a comeback film, I think this was a really good choice for Brendan Fraser to be casted in after him being blacklisted from Hollywood due to some pretty serious stuff that he accused somebody of. Some allegations. Well, we're not going to talk about that in this video. But I also would like to say I really like how the film mostly takes place in the apartment where Charlie lives. It's kind of like one of those bottled episodes of like TV where it's only set in one place. It's basically the whole thing of this movie. It takes place entirely in Charlie's apartment, aside from the opening scene with the bus, if you know what I'm talking about. And I really like the music. I really like the set designs, and surprisingly, now I didn't cry watching this movie. There was actually, I think there was 2 people that were crying on my row, like when I saw this movie in theaters. I think that's the first time I ever see something like that when I saw a movie in a theater. Now I didn't cry watching this movie, but I don't know what it is, but something about this movie hit me different. Like, damn. But it's a pretty sad film, but it's a really, really good film. And it's definitely one of my favorite films of 2022. If I ever do a top 10 favorite movies of 2022 list, this film will be on that list. But I highly recommend this film if you haven't seen it. And now this is my opinion, but I think this movie is Darren Aronofsky's best movie since Black Swan. Now I'm sure some of you might disagree with me on that, but that's my opinion. But it's a really, really well done film. I really, really enjoyed it. But check it out if you haven't. And I'm going to give The Whale an 8.5 out of 10. Now on to the next film. And the last film we're going to be talking about in this video is the one I saw in theaters on Saturday, which was New Year's Eve. And that is the new Damien Chazelle film, Babylon. Written and directed by Damien Chazelle, who is the same director of films like Whiplash, La La Land, and First Man, which was his previous film. Now, I have seen Whiplash, but I haven't seen the other 2 films. Whiplash was a film I really enjoyed, and I will definitely do a review on one of these days. Now, Babylon is a film that's gotten pretty mixed reviews from both critics and audiences. And unfortunately, on its opening weekend, it flopped, only making $3.1 million out of its $80 million budget. And suffice it to say, this film is a very divisive film, and there are a few factors that could be why this movie bombed on its opening weekend, but we'll get to that a little later. But right now, let's talk about the story of the film, and then we'll give my thoughts on the movie. So, let's talk about Babylon. I gotta be honest with you all, I kind of have a hard time trying to describe the storyline of the film, but I'll try to describe it as best I can. But in a nutshell, the film is set in Hollywood during the late 1920s to the early 1930s. And it revolves around filmmaking in Hollywood, as you could expect, kind of like movies like Mulholland Drive and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Even though Mulholland Drive wasn't primarily centered around that, but yeah. That's a completely different movie though, but it basically centers around these various characters as some rise and some have a downfall, some harder than the other. And I know it's kind of a poor way to describe the film, but that's kind of really the best I can describe because there's a lot of different plot lines that happen throughout the film. But in a nutshell, that's basically the storyline of the film. Now, to be fair, I thought this movie was pretty good, but it definitely has its flaws, and there are a few factors into why this movie bombed during its opening weekend, which was the Christmas weekend, that I will talk about really quickly. I think one of the reasons why this movie bombed on its opening weekend is because it opened up on the Christmas weekend, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the family movies are bigger, like they boom big during those weekends. And it also doesn't help that Avatar and Black Panther Wakanda Forever are currently the top biggest films playing in theaters currently as of this video. And this movie kind of came out at a bad time, I would say, because those 2 movies are big in theaters. I don't think there's a movie with a 3-hour runtime would be able to surpass those 2 kind of movies. Well, that's not to say that it would be possible, but that wasn't the case for this movie right here. And Damien Chazelle's previous film, First Man, which I haven't seen, like I said earlier, But I do know that movie didn't do very well in the box office. It got a mixed reception. And like this film right here, it's got mixed reception too. But I personally thought this movie was pretty good. And I believe another reason why this movie was a box office bomb on its opening weekend was probably because it's an Oscar baity film. And it is an Oscar baity film. It is. Although that's not to say that this film is bad or anything. But aside from my reasons, well, what I think is why this movie bombed on its opening weekend, I thought this movie was pretty good, but it definitely has its problems. Probably one of the biggest problems I have with this movie is that the plot is kind of all over the place. There's so many different plot lines that happen throughout the movie. And this is a pretty long movie. It's 3 hours and 9 minutes. But I guess they had to do a couple different plot lines throughout the movie. It was sort of reminds me a little bit of Magnolia, where in that movie it has a lot of different plot lines happening at the same time. Which, by the way, Magnolia is a great movie. I'll definitely review that movie someday. But I guess Babylon was trying to be like Magnolia a little bit, having a lot of different plot lines in one movie. Well, it's not common for some movies to have several different plot lines, but that's not always a good thing. But aside from that, Babylon was a film that I enjoyed. I thought it was pretty well casted, and I really liked the set designs in the movie, and I love the music, and it has some pretty good cinematography too. Although, this is definitely not a film for everybody, and I can definitely understand why this movie bombed on the opening weekend, which is a shame considering its $80 million budget, and it only made 3.5 on its opening weekend, which is not a good sign. There's definitely going to be some losses for that. But maybe it'll do better in time as I'm recording this video. Which, as I'm recording this video, this movie's still in theaters. And this movie has only been out for over a week. Well, almost 2 weeks, actually. But I don't really have a whole lot to say about... Well, actually, I got a few things to say before we finish it. The movie is pretty funny too, but I don't like some of the gross out humor they have in this movie. I am not really a fan of gross out humor, but that's just me. Like, within the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's a part where they're trying to get an elephant up the hill, and the elephant takes a shit on one of the guys pushing the trailer, which was gross. I don't know why, but I'm not really a fan of gross out humor. But aside from all the flaws with this movie, I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was pretty good. And I guess I'll probably watch it again someday. But anyways, I don't have anything else to add, so I'm giving Babylon a 7.6 out of 10. And that's going to be it for this review. Well guys, that's about all I have for today's video. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more videos like this. And follow me on my social medias. The links are in the description down below, like always. And feel free to share this video with your friends, family, or whoever. And once again, Happy New Year, everybody. I have a lot of different videos I have planned for 2023. And what do you guys think of these two films? Let me know in the comment section below. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today. So thanks for watching. And until next time, this is Keagan Shepherd signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.